Well, good afternoon, dear friends. Let us get started. This is our traditional panel discussion. We are going to talk about renewables energy in Russia, about its growth of its scale, and about export of technologies. I would like to remind you, and I would like to inform those who are here for the first time, that this forum was established 3 years ago by Alexey Texler and Alexey. And we have our rules here. They are as follows. We try hard to talk about technologies because the member of the Russian Academy, Alexey, is with us. And we talk about technologies that, in our opinion, are going to become relevant. And then we may take looks back. And we also make it a rule to acknowledge accomplishments of the members of this panel and attendees. Let me introduce our panelists today. Ladies and gentlemen, Alexey Texler, First Deputy Minister of Energy of the Russian Federation. Alexey is not just a speaker. He is not just a panelist. He represents the Russian Federation in the International Renewable Energy Agency. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Adnan Amin, General Director of the International Renewable Energy Agency. Welcome, Your Excellency. He's been a traditional panelist for many years, and today we have big names in renewables energy. So who do we have by the hot stove, so to speak? This person hardly knows any introduction, but ladies and gentlemen, I give you Anatoly Chubais. He used to be in charge of energy in Russia. These days, he is a nanotechnologist. Anatoly, it's an honor to have you with us. And we're looking forward to your presentation and will torment you with questions. So beware. Charles Hendry, ladies and gentlemen, for 4 years, Mr. Hendry was Minister of State for the Department of Energy and Climate Change, the United Kingdom. Thank you, Mr. Hendry, for being here. And it's an honor to have you here. Now he heads the mission of the United Kingdom in Astana at the Future Energy Forum, which is a splendid event. And Mr. Hendry also heads the Energy Institute of the United Kingdom. He is also well connected in the investment community. Thank you for finding an opening in your busy schedule, Charles. Ladies and gentlemen, Igor Shahrai. He's been a traditional panelist. He's going to tell us about a miracle that took place in the town of Novotcheboknarsk. It's a joint venture between Rosnano and Renova, the Hevel company, and a couple more panelists. They are here for the first time, and they represent wind energy, not solar. Let me start with Alexander Korchagin. He heads this Novo Wind company. It's a division of Rosatom. Last year we had Amin Askerov. This year it's your pleasure to have you with us. And because Kirill Komarov was summoned to the White House, so thank you for responding so promptly to our invitation. Roberto D'Ambrogio, Director of Europe and North Africa, an LSPA. Well, Roberto is a new person in the Russian wind power energy. But, well, have I forgotten somebody? No, I don't think so. With one exception, ladies and gentlemen, Alexander Chuvaev, Executive Director of Fortin Company. And in the front row, we have Klaus Thyssen. Thank you for being here today. Klaus, he's the inventor of Berlin and Aldershof Annegret Levak is Director of Business Development of Meyer Burger, the partner of LLC Hevel. Pleasure to have you with us. And Alexey Kaplun, we used to represent you as introduced as representatives of REW. Yes, Russia. Now these days it's Rus Gidro, Director of Forward Development Department. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give the floor to Alexey. Quite a lot has happened in these past years. So the market has formed itself. How do you estimate it, and what is in store for us? We are all yours. Dear friends, it is a pleasure to see you here in Russia, in our country. It's a pleasure to have you in Russia. Well, I'm glad to see Charles again. We made acquaintance in Astana, and he is such a great person to deal with that I couldn't but invited him to be a panelist here. And Amin is a great comrade in arms. He is our friend. He is a great proponent and advocate of renewables energy. Anatoly Chubais is a legend. He thinks about the development of renewables in this country for many years. He's been thinking representatives of our companies, and by our companies, I mean everybody present here, representatives of Fortnum and other companies, because they are our companies, naturally Rosatom and the rest of them who are proponents and drivers of renewables in this country. Everybody who George introduced. Indeed, this is our third panel discussion, and we discuss our prospects. Let me remind you, 3 years ago, the Russian Federation did not have one single MW worth of renewables energy. I mean, in terms of new commissioning. In 2015 and in 2016, we commissioned 130. This year, we are going to commission another 130 MW. And in 2017, we had tenders for the wind energy and solar energy. There was quite a lot of bidders, and 2.2 gigawatts we selected this year. So in total, we have 6. So that leaves 1 gigawatt worth of capacity to be tendered. Almost 90% is wind, but nonetheless, I think the accomplishments are quite impressive. In 3 years, we have had tangible accomplishments, and so the growth is quite evident. It's quite dynamic, so to speak. In terms of scopes of projects we have selected, the capital expenditure, cumulative capital expenditure, is roughly 600 billion rubles. When you multiply it by a multiplier, I guess you would be on the safe side if you made it several-fold bigger. So that means birth of a new market. Quite a lot of people work in that area. Researchers, workers, producers, manufacturers at our power plants and so forth. Quite a lot of new jobs. So I guess, it's fair to point out that competition has become more pronounced in this market of ours. A while ago, we didn't have too many industrial players, but this year we've had new players in the solar sector. They bring their technologies along. They launch their facilities in the wind sector. Both Rosatom and Fortum and Enel and Rosnano have shown good progress and have achieved good accomplishments. And from the standpoint of capital investments, let me tell you the following. power generation, wind generation have demonstrated a reduction of capital expenditure by more than 30%. Sorry, that is good progress, ladies and gentlemen. And the power folks, renewable folks, renewables energy has a very bright future. And well, I have long since stopped using the term alternative because renewables are no longer an alternative to something. They have become conventional, and they have become good competitors to conventional energy resources. And these things are bits of a bigger picture. And it's not about figures, it's not about gigawatts, it's about competences. This is what our president talked about earlier on today. As a country, we want to have competent people, not just in our conventional segments of the energy market, primarily hydrocarbons, but of course, we realize that there are certain trends to take into account. We want to be proactive participants of new processes and trends. Later on, Igor Shahrai will provide you with further details, but we are very proud to announce that now we are producing solar panels per Russian technology. Their performance index is more than 20%, 22 actually. That's very good, and they are quite competitive. They can compete with foreign-made products. In the wind sector, the process of localization, which has been underway, will be successful too, I'm sure. We've been collaborating with a Dutch company. We've been working with Enel from Italy. That will help us improve potential in the wind generation area as well. And in the near future, we will have Russian developments rather than Russian-made technologies rather than localized foreign processes and technologies. Let's hope that these processes will take place in a more and more active manner. Naturally, the domestic history of this sector is directly connected with the efforts of International Renewables Energy Agency. This year, Russia is a member of its board, and we've attended all the events. And this last April, I guess many of you remember that this last April, we had a presentation by Iran. They touched upon our potential in terms of renewables for the future. Min will touch upon that later on, I presume. Our forecasts are not as optimistic as those of our peers, but that gives us a great opportunity to have a discussion, and we are very thankful for the collaboration and for the engagement and interaction. In essence, renewables are being supported in every segment of the market. Wholesale, that's what I was talking about, 6 GW, retail market, regional markets. There are support measures everywhere in remote and isolated areas. So in remote and isolated neighborhoods, new power places are being installed, hybrid power plants, solar plants, especially in the Far East, in the Arctics, and that is a demonstration of our belief in the future of this industry. We believe that it will pay for itself. This last July, the government of Russian Federation approved a plan for extended introduction of renewables in micropower generation. That should help us better cover households with a level of consumption less than 15 kW, which will mean that people will be able to install solar panels in their houses, and the excess of power they will be able to sell to the grid at guaranteed rates. Naturally, that will be another zap, so to speak, in terms of renewables development. No, it's not just about gigawatts, hundreds or dozens of gigawatts, but about tinier producers of energy as well, we think, in the solar and wind sectors. So we are progressing, we are moving forward, we are pursuing all the directions of renewables. And as I said, we're making effort to stimulate not just power plants, but processes and technologies. Renewables are a part, must be in the future energy mix. And the key part, I guess, when we speak about digitalization of energy, we mean that it will help us configure grids in a more compact manner, and consumers will be able to become consumers, and all users consumers will interact with one another in an active manner through top-of-the-art, state-of-the-art technologies, top-notch technologies, both and technology-wise, finance-wise. This blockchain will help connect consumers and producers without intermediaries, without sales organizations and brokers. And we will see that renewables, a day will come when renewables will, it's quite obvious that renewables are becoming more and more important. So I would like to propose to review it on a wider basis and as an integral part of the global energy mix of the future. This is all I have to say in terms of my keynotes, ladies and gentlemen, because we have very prominent panelists here. Well, thank you so very much.